What's up, guys? It's Josh here, back with another Kansas City Chiefs related video. And today I wanted to talk about potential cut candidates from around the NFL that the Kansas City Chiefs could benefit from signing. It's important to keep in mind that this is purely hypothetical. None of these guys have actually been cut yet. I did make a video like this a month or two ago, but that was a little bit older now. And now that coaches have gotten to see some of their new draft picks and OTAs and mini camp and training camp is right around the corner, talks have started to heat up around the league from journalists of other teams, other teams that have fan blog sites and stuff. The coverage is starting to ramp up, and a popular topic right now is cut candidates from a multitude of teams. And I definitely think that the Chiefs are waiting to see what big names could potentially come available that they probably didn't think they could get a month or two ago. Now, obviously, a cut candidate from another team, there's going to be a reason that they're being cut. So it's not like you're getting an A-tier player from the cuts coming after training camp. And the Chiefs do have some needs at some positions that I think there's going to be some guys that come available that could fill those needs. It seems like, there were obvious moves out there, such as Melvin Ingram or Justin Houston to shore up that defensive end position, especially with Frank Clark troubles looming. And then cornerback, it seemed like such an obvious move to get Bashaud Breeland. They didn't bring him back, and now you're kind of looking at bottom of the barrel guys, but there's still one last chance to potentially add to those groups, and I believe that's what the Chiefs might be waiting for, and that is cut season from after training camp, and spots are earned and spots are lost from certain players. But all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get right into this and give you four guys that I believe could be cut this offseason that the Kansas City Chiefs could sign. All right, so my first potential cut candidate that could possibly be cut, that I would love to see the Chiefs pick up if they do become available, is Buffalo Bills defensive end Jerry Hughes. So this one might come as a little bit of a shock to some people, particularly Bills fans, but I have seen a few articles pop up over the last couple weeks about Jerry Hughes' roster spot being put in danger. Now, there's also Mario Addison on that team, who is an aging defensive end that could also be cut. I don't think both of them will be cut. I think one of them will probably be cut, though. If I'm being honest, I feel like Mario Addison, is probably the more likely of those two to be cut. And if he does get cut, that's still another name that I would like to see the Chiefs show some interest in. But I prefer Jerry Hughes of the two, because I believe he is still the better player as of this moment. But the Buffalo Bills, so why would they cut Jerry Hughes? Well, they drafted a couple defensive ends this past draft, some high upside guys in Greg Rousseau and Carlos Basham, a couple names that I know a lot of Chiefs fans liked. So that puts the Bills' defensive end room in a little bit of flux, because they also have AJ Epineza, who they drafted, I believe it was the year prior, and they just got a lot of names on that roster right now. Someone's probably going to have to go. Jerry Hughes, though, if he does, I believe he has a bigger salary than Mario Addison, so he would actually save the Bills more money, which is why there's an increasing possibility it could be him that the Bills decide to cut. I would have to double check on that, but I believe Jerry Hughes would offer the most cap relief of those two players. But Jerry Hughes is one of those just veteran guys that the Chiefs totally need in their defensive end room right now, because, like I said, with the whole Frank Clark thing going on, Jerry Hughes would be the perfect kind of player to add, a veteran who can still be a little bit productive. 4.5 sacks the past 2 years, 4.5, 5 past 2 years in a row, which isn't a huge number, but that's at least something. If you can add another 5 sacks to this defensive line, I would definitely do that. And PFF also is very high on him. They gave him an 86 pass rush grade last year, which ranked in the top 5 of their edge defenders. And also that would mean that Jerry Hughes had a higher pass rush grade last year than any of the Chiefs defensive ends. Just a solid veteran that you could add to this group, who doesn't have a lot of proven players right now. There's Taco Charlton, who, I liked what he showed last year, but I don't know if you can rely on him. Mike Dana, similar boat to Taco Charlton. Then there's Josh Kando, who we just don't really know too much about. And you're banking on a lot of potential there. You're kind of taking a leap of faith with that group, especially if Frank Clark misses time. So Jerry Hughes, if he does become available, I would love to see the Chiefs pick him up. Just someone to help out this pass rush that struggled a lot in 2020. Hughes is also someone that may be a little bit undersized, not your prototypical Steve Spagnuolo defensive end, but we already saw Brett Veach target someone who isn't your prototypical Spags defensive end in Melvin Ingram this offseason, so I would be all for the Hughes addition if it were to happen. All right, so my next potential cut candidate that I think the Chiefs could show interest in if he is cut is Landon Collins, the Washington football team safety. Now, of my list today, I think Landon Collins is one of the more unlikely possibilities. That's mostly because I think the Chiefs are pretty comfortable with their safety group. Tyrann Mathieu, Juan Thornhill, Dan Sorensen, and Will Parks, an underrated signing that I think fans are going to be surprised the kind of stuff he can bring to the table. I think he could give Dan Sorensen a run for his money with some of those third safety snaps. You got Armani Watts, too, who I know they value on special teams. Anyway, though, Landon Collins does have some familiarity with Steve Spagnuolo and could also give Tyrann Mathieu a break every here and there with his ability to play strong safety. Now, Landon Collins, I think he kind of declined a little bit in his time with Washington. He also tore his Achilles last year, so that's a risk that you would be taking. And Cameron Curl, their rookie safety from last year, really impressed when he stepped in for Landon Collins, which is why Washington might see Landon Collins as expendable. But Landon Collins has shown to be a good safety in this league before. And like I said, it might be the most unlikely on this list that I'm putting out on YouTube today. But I think the relationship with Steve Spagnuolo, there's enough merit to that to where I could see the Chiefs showing interest if he is cut. And maybe they think they can get a little bit more out of him. Maybe there's some left in the tank for Landon Collins. I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty iffy on that one, though, but I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments about the potential of Landon Collins coming to the Chiefs. My third potential cut candidate, and I think a lot of Chiefs fans will like this one. Again, though, I don't know how likely it is because the Chiefs wide receiver room is already looking pretty stacked, but Albert Wilson of the Miami Dolphins, the former Chief, he might get cut, and that's because the Miami Dolphins, they really attacked the wide receiver position this offseason. They brought in Will Fuller. They drafted Jalen Waddle. They already have some impressive receivers on that team. I believe Allen Hurns is still on their roster as of right now. Those are a lot of guys above Albert Wilson and a lot of guys who have been playing that, Albert Wilson hasn't been playing. He opted out last year, and then he got injured about halfway through the season before that, so the Dolphins have kind of adjusted to life without Albert Wilson. Not that he was an integral part of that offense, but he did give them a little bit of production. 69 receptions for over 700 yards and 5 touchdowns in just 20 games for Miami. Those are some pretty solid numbers, but do I think the Chiefs would add Albert Wilson if he became available? I'm really not sure. I think they already have a lot of guys that they like, and I don't think Albert Wilson is the type of receiver that they would be looking to add at the moment. If they were to add one, I think they would want someone who can play that X role Sammy Watkins left behind. That's definitely not Albert Wilson. Albert Wilson is closer to Tyreek Hill than he is Sammy Watkins. And I don't mean that like talent level wise. I just mean that style of receiver. But Albert Wilson did have a good relationship with Mahomes. We saw in that Week 17 Denver game, Mahomes' first start, they really connected. He's someone that would fit a speed and precision offense like Kansas City's. So, I don't know. We'll have to see, but there is a possibility Albert Wilson is cut, and if there is, I would love to hear what you guys think about that possibility. All right, now for my fourth and final cut candidate, I think this one would be a little bit of a surprise, but I think he's caught a lot of flack from his fan base, is Green Bay Packers cornerback Kevin King. So Kevin King has kind of become infamous for his botched NFC Championship game performance, and I think that there might be enough there to where he actually becomes a scapegoat for the Packers, and they get rid of him. Not really, maybe, but really the true reason I would put him on the list is because the Packers just drafted 2 other cornerbacks this past draft, and Eric Stokes Jr. from Georgia, and the other cornerback in the 4th round, Shamar Jean-Charles. So there's going to be a lot of competition there with Green Bay this training camp, and I do think Kevin King could become expendable. He only signed a really cheap 1-year deal. This could be someone that maybe is put on the chopping block, and the Chiefs maybe make a trade for him even with a late round pick, or just if he gets cut, they can sign him, like the point of the video. But my guy, Ryan Tracy from RGR Football, shout out to him. I know he is a huge Kevin King fan, and he scouts a lot of those Washington players because I know he has ties to UW. But Kevin King is someone who is tall, long, and fast, could give you veteran presence in the cornerback room that they don't really have right now. I mean, they have some veteran, like Charvarius Ward has been here for a few years, but is he someone that can be a true leader and actually rebound from last year because he wasn't that good last year? I'm not sure, but Kevin King would give you at least someone that I think you could feel comfortable with on the field. There's not a ton of guys with the Chiefs cornerbacks that, you know, I can truly say that about them right now. I like L'Jarius Sneed. I like Rashad Fenton. Charvarius Ward, wasn't impressed with him last year. I'm concerned about him playing serious snaps. Mike Hughes, I mean, that was a cool flyer pickup by Brett Veach, but there's a chance he's not healthy or he's not very good. DeAndre Baker, kind of the same thing with him. So even though I love the Baker pickup, you see my point though. So Kevin King would definitely be someone that I would like to see the Chiefs go after if he does somehow become available. I would love to see a cornerback added to this team before the regular season starts. I didn't see a whole lot of cornerbacks in that cut group that whenever I was doing research for this video, I didn't see a lot of guys that played the cornerback position that would actually be a fit for the Chiefs. That's the one that I came up with was Kevin King. I talked about Kevin King's teammate, Josh Jackson, in my other video that I did about cut candidates. I think he's another one. I think it's kind of a similar situation as like that Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes situation where I think at least one of those guys has got to go. And I do like both of them, and I think both of them have some upside that the Chiefs might like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So guys, let me know what you thought of my 4 potential cut candidates, if you would like to see the Chiefs go after any of those guys, and your guys' opinions as well. Leave them in the comments. I would love to hear. But all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this video, and make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and kckingdom.com. Peace.